Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Colby from Sanitarian Productions. We're back again with another G.I. Joe action figure review. In this episode, we're taking a look at the G.I. Joe Club.com exclusive Final 12 Figure 9 Tiger Force Psyche-Out. This is an interesting figure to me. I never had the original vintage released version of the Tiger Force Psyche-Out, so this is a brand new one for me. Very cool looking. The G.I. Joe Club itself has done a really good job of getting us a lot of great characters from the vintage line. It's sad that they are on their final 12 here. We're on figure 9 already out of 12. But this is a pretty cool figure, actually. It's got a nice card art here. We've got Psyche-Out over here on the side. Traditional G.I. Joe backgroundy thing going on here. Flipping it over to the back side, we have the enlarged card art up at the top. Figure 9 of 12 over here on the side. And of course the file card itself. We will let you pause it right there if you want to go ahead and read through all that stuff. But very cool looking. Pretty nice. Again, this is a new figure for me because I never had this one as part of the original vintage line, so very cool looking. One thing that collectors should note is that when they released this thing, for whatever reason, they actually included just the normal figure stand with it. So to correct that, they actually sent out the updated Tiger Force variant version here. If I can get it to focus here. Tiger Force Psyche-Out here on the front. So they actually ended up mailing this out separately, so it's not included in the pack. So if you're buying this on the secondary market, be sure you're trying to also pick up this extra battle stand there. But other than that, it's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and just open this guy up and take a look and see what's going on here. Got our handy dandy X-Acto knife that we always use. I slice it this way, and then slice it down this way, and over to the side a little bit. I'm curious to what y'all do to open these things. Do you actually remove the entire blister from these things, or do you just slice it open like that? So traditionally I slice it open like that, so it's still attached, simply because it's very easy to then take these things and slide them back inside here, and close it back up like that if I want to, for whatever reason, keep them on the card. But I don't know. I'm interested to see how y'all deal with that stuff. I don't actually do that very often. I don't traditionally keep much of the actual file cards themselves, but they are cool. They do have some nice shelf life anyways. I'll toss that to the side for right now. Let's go ahead and dump this guy's accessories out and see what we got here. We do have a couple of pieces of tape here, there, and abouts. So we'll go ahead and slice that off. One holding his pistol on here. One holding on his crazy whatever that is. And one over here on the side for this gun. I think that's it. So we do have the cool backpack here. Very nice. We have this over-under looking weapon thing. Pretty cool though. We've got his crazy, I don't even know what you call this thing, but his sonic radar gun thing. Size monitor, I don't know. We've got a little pistol over here on the side. We've got the actual figure himself and his little radar dishes that are on his side there. His arms. Pretty nice looking. And we do have that battle stand here inside as well. Very cool. So we get some decent accessories with this guy. Let's go ahead and zoom in, and we will start looking at the figure itself. So hold on to your seats while we zoom in with the camera here. Whoosh! There's our sound effect. Not necessarily the best sound effect in the world, but that's what we got, so that's what we're going to use. So let's start with the actual figure stands themselves. Again, you have one that came with it is the traditional codename Psyche-Out here. Traditional 25th anniversary version. 2-foot pegs, the raised G.I. Joe logo there at the top. The 2007 copyright on the back side. Pretty straightforward. I guess they missed this in production and it came out with just a regular codename Psyche-Out as opposed to the one they set out separately here. This is the Tiger Force variant. Tiger Force Psyche-Out for the codename. It's the same stand, otherwise the raised G.I. Joe logo, 2-foot pegs, and the 2007 copyright on it. So, yeah. If you're getting this guy separately, not from the actual club itself, which from here on out you won't be able to get it from the club, make sure you're looking for the actual Tiger Force Psyche-Out stand. And if you're a completist, you'll want the regular stand as well. So, yeah, just be on the lookout for that. Something to be wary of if somebody is selling it complete. And that gets into a whole nother conversation about, is it really complete if it doesn't have the stand? Or, well, that's not for us to debate today. So, moving on to the accessories here. We'll start with the pistol here, if I can get it with my fingers. We have a standard small arms pistol thing here. Pretty nice looking detail here. A pretty standard one that we've gotten in the past here on minifigures here, so nothing too extraordinary there. He unfortunately does not have any sort of holster or anything for that, so you just have to put that in his hand, but it's still pretty cool. His other battle weapon here is this cool looking gun here. Again, I don't have any clue what this thing is actually modeled after in real life. I've never been really good with identifying weapons or not, so this one may or may not be an actual real world weapon. But it has just a fair amount, very scarce amount of detail, but still ends up looking pretty decent, to be honest with you. Get the light on that just a little bit there. Not bad looking. And not the best in the world either, but it is what it is. So we get that with it. Our other accessory here is his crazy radar thing here. I don't really have any idea what this thing is. It's kind of like a Geiger counter, kind of like a nuclear register, but it's supposed to be sonic, I'm assuming, and send out these crazy brainwave things and some cool stuff. Some bare amounts of detail here. Some really nice stuff on the handle there and on the top control panel, I guess that is. We've actually seen this particular accessory in certain iterations with other characters. It's got this crazy radar dish thing on the front of it that kind of marks it as Psyche-Outs. This thing is removable, as you can see here. It's just got a little peg on it and a peg hole, and you just kind of slide it in place there. There's this little doohickey up here at the top right there that makes it so this thing does not sit exactly flush. So if you push it all the way in, it kind of ends up pointing down a little bit. So I actually like just pulling it out just a little bit to keep it kind of aimed straight. So this thing itself is, I've actually used a similar item like this a long time ago for nuclear density testing on road construction. So I'm assuming that's kind of what this thing is supposed to be. So pretty cool looking though. We also get a cool backpack here. Some nice details all the way around this nice metallic cover. It is openable. You just kind of stick your thumbnail in there somewhere and you yank on it real hard, and this thing pops open to have a fairly spacious innard. And it does have a really cool actual hinge joint there on the side there. It's not that plastic bit where you could potentially break it off. Unfortunately, it's not really big enough to hold much of anything. So like this thing here won't fit in there. His gun won't fit in there. But you can toss his pistol in there. And I guess you can carry around these things in there. Or at least one of them. Maybe two. Let's see if we can get two of them in there. You can fit two of those in there and it'll still close up pretty easily. So I guess that's what it's going to be used for, is carrying those little things around. So still pretty cool though. Dump that back out here. Closes up. It actually attaches pretty easily, and it's not going to fall apart. You got to kind of have to pull it a little bit to get that little notch to come out. So all in all, very nice. Does attach to his back fairly easily here, just like our normal backpacks. And it looks kind of bulky and a little odd, but it is what it is. So there you go. His other accessories, I guess we'll count these as accessories. These little radar reflector things. I don't know what they are, but they were on the original figure and they've carried forward with them. They have them set to attach basically here at his elbow joints. And they are movable, so you can kind of position them wherever you want to. You can actually put it up there a little bit higher on his arm there around the top of the bicep. It works, so they're crazy looking, but it gives them a distinct look anyway, so we'll at least give them that much here. Moving on to the figure itself, this is a pretty cool looking figure. It's different than the original vintage version, or the classic version of Psyche-Out, in that they actually have dark brown hair for this guy, but it uses the same mold for the entire figure, same for the head sculpt. He does have a really awesome looking headband thing here with this crazy antenna on it. I remember on the vintage release of this figure, that thing kept popping off and was easily lost. So this one is actually molded in place. It's non-removable, so you're not going to have to worry about losing it. So that's good. Beyond that, some really nice detail in the actual figure itself. The clothing here. So his clothing here has some really nice fold lines in the fabric. On the back here, we've got a lot of awesome stuff going on here. This nice metallic color going everywhere, which makes it hard for the camera to focus in on it, but a lot of detail work all the way in through there. A very cool looking metallic belt there with lots of stuff going on. Cool looking gloves. Some nice detail on those as well. Standard pants, but he does have some nice fold points here, there, and abouts. Cool looking knee pads. Non-metallic boots, but still some nice detail in there. So they did a good job with the detail work anyways. We'll give them that much. Color-wise, it's a little bit darker of an orange here than I was actually expecting, especially compared to like the hit and run figure that we got. It's just a darker overall shade of orange and blue here, so it works pretty well. I don't really have any problem with it. As far as articulation goes, the head does spin 360 degrees. He has a little bit of up and down motion, some side to side head tilt action going on, but it's pretty tight in there. The collar doesn't really get in the way of anything, but just a really tight head sculpt there. Standard ball and swivel at the shoulder joints here. Standard ball and swivel here at the elbow joints. Very cool. There is just a swivel joint at the wrist. I don't see anything that looks like a rocker or anything like that. So just a swivel. We do have the standard waist twist, ab twist feature, depending on how you want to look at it here. Plenty of ab crunch motion to go on there, so very cool looking. Standard T-hooks at the waist, full side-to-side action, full forward motion, full backward motion, so very nice there. We do get a double knee joint here, very nice, and the standard swivel and rocker here at the ankle joint, so all in all, very cool looking. So yeah, it's a nice compliment to the Tiger Force team. I don't know the full backstory of the character as far as the Tiger Force variant goes. I don't know why he's got dark hair. I want to say he was originally like a European release in the vintage line. So that kind of explains a little bit why his character may be slightly different. We'll go ahead and armor him up real quick. Let's grab this thing, stick on his shoulder here. Grab this one and stick on his shoulder here. He can't carry all of his weapons without throwing one of them in the backpack, so not that big of a deal. We'll go ahead and put his larger weapon here on his left-hand side here, and that just leaves his pistol. That's weird. It kind of pops out a little bit and doesn't want to fit really well. So I'm going to move it to that point there. Yep, that works a little bit better. But so he can carry most of it. You can stick his pistol in his backpack and you'll be fine with it. This particular weapon here, I don't really like at all. For whatever reason, it just doesn't fit in his hand very well. Just looks odd when you do get it to fit in his hand. So yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that one. But beyond that, the figure itself looks pretty good. Psyche-Out has always been kind of a crazy character. It's never really fit in very well with most of the traditional G.I. Joe figures, I guess. I actually really did like the original vintage version of this and the subsequent classic version of the modern update to that. But it is very much a weird figure. I kind of like weird figures though, so yeah. It definitely fits in really well with the Tiger Force line, and beyond that, he doesn't seem to go very much on the secondary market at the moment, so it's a pretty easy figure to pick up, at least for the time being. Who knows what's going to happen in a week or a month or even a day. This thing could spike, but I somehow don't really think that's going to happen. But it's a pretty cool figure. I do like the tiger stripe motif going on. I like that orange top half. The bottom half is kind of bland here, but it's kind of cool. So, I don't know. If you like it, go pick it up. If you don't like it, then this is an easy one to probably say to pass on. But I'm not upset with it whatsoever. That's all the time we've got for today, so thanks for watching. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Drop some comments down below. Let us know what you think of Tiger Force Psyche-Out, the psychic warfare expert. Pretty cool concept figure anyways. If you like any of the other crazy figures out there, you know, what's your favorite crazy figure from the Joe line? Anyways, if you have anything you'd like to see in future episodes, drop a comment down below as well. I'll do my best to get it out in front of y'all. And until next time, Yo Joe!